What if prayer wasn't about asking for things? What if it was a moment of surrender, a deep dive into the divine presence, where the self fades away and only the will of God remains? This profound question lingers in the heart of every seeker. In a world driven by desires and demands, it is easy to see prayer as a transaction, a way to request what we think we need. But what if the true meaning of prayer is not about asking for anything, but about surrendering ourselves completely to the will of God? What if, in that moment of surrender, we experience a divine awakening that has the power to transform us, not the world around us? This is the path of Sufism, and through the mystical lens of Hafez, one of the greatest Persian poets, we begin to uncover the deeper meaning of prayer. Prayer, in Hafez's world, is not a way to ask for material things or to demand changes in our lives. Prayer is not a plea for the divine to act on our behalf. No, prayer, in the words of Hafez, is a state of being. It is a place of surrender, where we come to realize that what we truly seek is not in the external world, but is already within us. We are the ones who must change in the presence of the divine, and it is through this change that prayer finds its true purpose. Hafez, with his lyrical genius and profound mysticism, calls us to prayer not as a request but as an experience. He once said, "The candle of my heart burns from the flame of your love." This is not simply a beautiful metaphor. It is the foundation of his spiritual understanding. For Hafez, prayer is the flame of divine love that burns within our hearts, purifying us, transforming us, and making us one with the beloved. Prayer is not a begging, but a becoming of who we truly are in the presence of God. The more we surrender to God's will, the more we allow His love to fill us, the more we become ourselves. If we take a moment to reflect, we realize that the material world often pushes us to see prayer as something transactional. We are taught to pray for specific outcomes, to ask for success, happiness, health, or wealth. But Hafez offers us a different view of prayer, one that transcends the transactional. He invites us to see prayer as a path to the divine, a path to self-discovery. In his poetry, Hafez challenges the traditional view of prayer and shows us that it is not about changing the world around us, but changing ourselves. Prayer, for him, is not a request list for the divine. It is the unveiling of our deepest truths. In his words, "Don't ask what I am searching for. I am lost in the search for you." What does this mean? In Hafez's mystical world, the search for God is not a quest to gain something from the divine. It is not about receiving material blessings or tangible results. The search for God is an experience of the heart, a deep longing to be united with the divine presence. When Hafez says he is lost in the search for God, he is expressing the idea that prayer is not about seeking something outside ourselves. Prayer is the process of losing ourselves in the divine presence, losing the ego, the desires, the wants, and simply being in the moment, fully aware of the divine. This leads us to the essence of prayer, according to Hafez, the surrender of the self. In his words, "When you are lost, you are found. And when you are empty, you are full." These words speak to the paradox of prayer. In the world, we are taught to seek, to desire, to accumulate. We are told that prayer is about getting something, whether it is wealth, health, or success. But in the mystical world of Hafez, prayer is about losing the ego, losing the self, and finding something far more profound. When we empty ourselves, we make room for the divine to fill us. This emptiness is not a void, but a space for divine love, for the presence of God. When we are lost in prayer, we are found, not in the external world, but in the eternal truth of who we are. So, what does it mean to be lost and found in prayer? It means stepping away from the world of desire and entering into the world of being. Prayer is not about what we ask for, but about who we become in the presence of God. Hafez teaches us that when we let go of our desires, our fears, and our attachments, we come face to face with the divine. In this moment of surrender, prayer becomes not about the self, but about God's presence filling us. We no longer ask for change in the world, we ask for change in ourselves. In Hafez's mystical vision, true prayer is not about words. It is about a state of being. It is the experience of standing before the divine, not with a list of demands, but with an open heart, ready to be transformed. In his poetry, Hafez writes, "I am not what I was before. I have been consumed by the fire of your love." This is the ultimate prayer, to be consumed by divine love, to be so immersed in God's presence that the self fades away and only the beloved remains. Hafez tells us that prayer is not about what we ask for, but about the state we bring to the prayer. It is about bringing ourselves into alignment with the divine. This is why, for Hafez, prayer is not about getting something from God, but about becoming something through God. It is about discovering the deepest truth within us. Prayer is not about the world changing. It is about our hearts changing, our souls transforming. Hafez once said, "Don't seek the answers in the world outside. The answers are already within you. You have been created to seek Him." In these words, he points to the profound truth that the divine is already within us. Prayer is not about asking for something we do not have. It is about realizing what we already possess. The divine presence is not something we seek externally. It is something we awaken to within ourselves. As we embrace this understanding of prayer, we realize that the purpose of prayer is not to change what is outside of us, but to change what is inside of us. When we pray with this intention, we let go of control, of our need to dictate the outcome. Prayer becomes an act of trust, a trust in God's will, a trust that whatever unfolds is part of the divine plan for us. Hafez reminds us that prayer is not about getting answers, but about becoming the answer, becoming the person we are meant to be in God's presence. In the end, Hafez's vision of prayer is one of surrender. When we stop asking for what we think we need, we open ourselves to what God has already given us. Prayer is not about asking for something from God. It is about receiving what God has already provided. It is about becoming more in tune with the divine and allowing the divine will to flow through us. As you sit in prayer, remember these words of Hafez: prayer is not about what you ask for. It is about who you become. Let go of the need to control, to demand, to seek. Instead, allow yourself to simply be in God's presence, in the moment, ready to receive whatever God has prepared for you. Prayer is not about changing the world. It is about transforming yourself. Through prayer, we become more aligned with the divine, and in that alignment, we find peace. I am the soul who has found God in every breath. In this truth, we discover that we are already enough, and our prayer is already heard. If you enjoyed this journey into the depths of prayer, surrender, and the wisdom of Hafez, don't forget to like and subscribe. Join us on this path of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. Until next time, remember, you are already enough and your prayer is already heard. Peace be upon you.